Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Marcia with Mom Needs a Clone. So today I thought I would go over my faith journal, which I created for September, October, kind of however long it takes me to get through it. But I think the fall season or the next 2 months will be a good amount of time to work through it. So someone asked to see it, so I thought I would do a flip through. But before I do that, I did want to share some of the other things I use. So just to give you an idea, I don't always use a traveler's notebook. I just am using that for the next 2 months. So for my scripture writing, it doesn't really matter what I use. I just kind of pick it based on that month really. So like this was August and I just did the book of James. So I just used a small little notebook for that. I don't remember when this was, but I did Psalm 78, but I can't remember if this was May. Maybe it was May, I'm not quite sure, but it's just paper folded, vellum put over it, and I'm just using it, a little elastic band to hold it together, so nothing fancy. And then in my traveler's notebook, which I used in July. Yes, I believe I used it. Let me check the month. Yep, it was in July. So this is what I used for my audio Bible for July. So it just was the scripture that I had to do for that day. I marked it off. And then for my scripture writing, as a family, we did Proverbs. We did the whole book of Proverbs, and we just did a proverb a day in the month of July. So since there was 31 days and 31 Proverbs, it worked out. Every time we did it as a family, I just picked out a scripture that stood out to me, and that is what I use for my scripture writing. So that's what I use for that month. And then I've had this actually for 2 years, and it's not completed because I go back to it back and forth, but this is just something that I use for scripture writing. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's got my Hebrew alphabet in it when I'm learning Hebrew. It's got our feast days, or shall I say the Most High's feast days are in it. So all the biblical festivals, we've got just some random pages throughout it that I use. So it's very kind of random. And then my audio Bible, a couple years ago when I started doing audio Bible, I would just make a note from each chapter. So that's what you see from here. So if you want, I would go to when I did Numbers. If I wanted to know, oh, what does Numbers kind of consist of, I can go back to this book and kind of look over kind of an overview. So I got pretty far in this before I kind of stopped. I think I did the whole, whoops. I think I did the whole Old Testament. Yeah, I got up to Matthew. So yeah, so that's kind of what I use then, but I use this all the time. I just go back to it randomly. That's just a quick overview of some examples of what I use as far as faith journals. But currently for September, October, I am using this traveler's notebook, which is just a leather from Michael's that I folded in half and punched some holes in and then just ran some elastic through. So it's nothing fancy, maybe $6 or something. I think it's like 12, but I believe you can use a coupon on it. And then I've just got a little charm on it. So all right, hopefully I'm in frame. So for September, October, and for this book specifically, it is focused on the fall biblical feasts. So that would be Feast of Trumpets, Day of Atonement, and Feast of Tabernacles. So that's what you're going to see. It's literally specifically for me to prep my mind and spirit and stuff to celebrate the Most High's feast days. So that's what you will see in here. So I just got some deco stuff there, pocket that I cut down. Some vellum, which I think was from scrapbook.com. I'm not sure. I won't know where stuff is from. I just use whatever I have. So here's just the cover of the first book. And you will see more Hebraic terms versus what we generally know as God or Jesus. I like to address God as his Hebrew name, Yahweh, or Yahuwah. And I like to address my Messiah by his Hebraic name, Yeshua or Yehoshua or Yahoshua. It just depends on how you verbally say it, but that's why you won't see as much God or Jesus in here. But yeah, that's just like an overview. So there's September. That's my audio Bible. So typically I like to be in Matthew when September hits. That's where I can gauge if I'm going to get through the Bible in a year. If I'm not at Matthew in September, there's a good chance I'm not going to finish, and I know that, and that's okay. It's like, you know, but that's kind of September is my kind of my marker for the year. So okay, so this first book, it does have the September and the October plan in it. And the pages in between is just going to be like when I'm going through Matthew 1 and 4. If something stood out to me on Tuesday, I'll write it down. Something stands out to me Wednesday, I'll write it down. So it's just basically when I'm doing the audio Bible, if a script stood out to me, I will write it down. Sometimes I would just write it. Sometimes I will break down some words in the Greek and in the Hebrew. It just depends on what I'm doing that day, if I got time. It's not every day. It's just kind of as I feel. So like for this one, I did spirit on this side and blasphemy on this side. So on this one, it says Matthew 12:31. So I just took the word blasphemy and the word spirit, and I just broke them down in the Greek and in the Hebrew, and then I just did that. And then spirit on this side, that down. I did that for the word yoke as well, but I don't always do that. So here you can see I just wrote it out. So that is that. And then there's October. And then there's a few pages if I want to do that for October. And my husband and my granddaughter. And then the back of that book, the back of the vellum. And then the next book is the 3 feast days. They're broken up into, I think, 10 pages each. I think that's how I did it. So here we have a family photo of myself, my husband, and my boys. That is when they went to their first homecoming. This is my granddaughter last fall, I believe. I've got a little pocket here with just some cards in it. And then I made this pocket here, and I've just got some stuff to help me with learning Hebrew. So it's just a bunch of different documents that I kind of look over. The name, the letter, the meaning, the picture, stuff like that. And then this one is the months. So our months and Hebrew months are different. So we are on the Gregorian calendar, and the Bible is in the Hebrew months. So I just kind of wanted to know, because sometimes when you're reading, it'll say, you know, the 10th of Kislev, and you're like, well, what is that in our world, I guess you would say. So it has the Hebrew, the length of time, and then what it would correlate for us. So just a little bit more understanding. So I have that in there. Okay, and then hopefully the lighting is okay. Everybody's gone to sports, so I have time to do the flip, but this is just a piece of vellum over the top. And then the second book. And then I just have Leviticus 23. Yahweh said to Moses, speak to the Israelites and say to them, These are my appointed festivals, the appointed festivals of Yahuwah, which you are to proclaim as a sacred assembly. So I just have it there. And then I have it in here inside this photo, which I just made this on my phone from an image from Pinterest. Okay, and then the first 10 days or so is the Feast of Trumpets, which honestly, because these have more than 10, like my Day of Atonement, I believe, has more than 10. This definitely has more than 10. I think it will go even into that first week of October before I have to create another plan. So I'm just taking it a day at a time. But for the Feast of Trumpets, I just have some scriptures on the word trumpets to get an understanding of that. So what I have here, which I don't know, should I go through all this? This could be a long video. So this first one, I just have it typed out and some things underlined. And then I have just this card that says you shall observe a day of solemn rest, which is from this. So I just kind of wrote out a portion of that onto here, kind of like a journaling card. And then I put the verse on there. Some of the things that trumpets are used for: to summon the congregation, to summon people, to gather leaders, to set out from camp, when it's time to go to war, at the beginning of a month, different stuff like that. And then on the back it says, the trumpet shall be to you a perpetual statute throughout your generations. So it's just breaking down this. It's not really a scripture, it's scriptures, a whole portion here. I just kind of broke it down. So that's what these are. So I broke down the word trumpets in Hebrew, the Hebrew letters and all what they mean, or I guess I should go that way because you read it that way. But that's kind of what that is, and the same for this. So I broke down the word shofar, a horn for blowing, ram's horn, trumpet, cheer, shout, acclaim, different stuff like that. So it just helps me to get an understanding, better understanding of how the scriptures was intended. That's how I like to kind of do my scripture writing for the festivals. I make them a little bit more in depth versus like, say, these. I mean, I really just wrote it out. I mean, I did break that down. Let me not. That's probably not a good example, this one. Yeah. So like this for scripture writing, I just kind of wrote the scripture out and I was done for the day. So it just depends. It's, you know, it just really depends on the month. But for the festivals, I like to pay close attention to them and gain an understanding of them. So here's my son from 2 Feast of Trumpets ago, maybe. I don't think it was last year. I think it was the year before. So it's just a picture of him with the scripture. And then we have Exodus 19. I have the printed scripture, and it just says to summon, to gather. So, and then what do we have here? When the trumpet sounds long, they shall come near the mountain. This one, so the people shouted and the trumpets were blown. And then I can pull stuff out of there. 7 priests, 7 trumpets, 7th day, march 7 times around the city. I believe that was Jericho. Yep. And this would be, did I even write the scripture? Yeah, Joshua 6. So I just use all these little journals to write down everything. So that is kind of what you see on there. If I can get this back in there. Okay. And then we have this one, 1 Kings 1, 34 and 48, and it's just kind of wrote out there. And then I did some writing, which is just translated from that onto there. And then we've got some journaling cards here. And again, I just broke down the word anoint into its Hebraic meaning. And yeah, that's pretty much what I did there. And then we have this one, which I did some writing under there. the scripture is typed out. And let's see here. 2 Chronicles 15. So the scripture is on there. The word oath, I broke that down. There it is on the back. And then we've got shouting and trumpets used when swearing an oath to the Most High. All right. And then what do we have here? Nehemiah 4. It says, our Elohim will fight for us. And then there's the scripture. The trumpet or the shofar can also be used to rally the people together. So like this day, that's all I physically wrote. Everything else, or versus those, but everything else was just right there. So. And then we've got this day. Let's see if we can take all these goodies out of here. So it says, lift your voice like a trumpet. Cry aloud, do not hold back, lift up your voice like a trumpet. So we've got that. Oops. We've got the word voice broken down in Hebrew as well as Greek. I wrote some of the scripture on the back. An image of my husband and my older son blowing a trumpet, and I don't know what year that was from. That could be last year. It says Happy Yom Teruah, which is just the Hebrew meaning of Feast of Trumpets. And Isaiah 58 is on the little card, so. Okay, and then we have Jeremiah 4. It says, for I hear the sound of the trumpet, the alarm. And then I have it all typed up there. Nothing on that, but plenty of space to write. So the only thing that day I wrote was actually that and the verse. And then we have blow the trumpet in Zion. So we have Joel 2:1, Joel 2:15. And I don't even think I wrote this one out. I sure didn't. Let me see what this one would have been. I gotta write that down. That would be Hosea 8:1-4. It says, set the trumpet to your lips. So I need to write that on the bottom of that. And then Ezekiel 33. And I just wrote, blow the trumpet and warn the people. I did some highlighting. And then I broke down the word warn or warning. I just did it in Hebrew. I didn't do it in Greek this time. And that looks like that's where I've gotten so far within the month. And then here are the pre-prep pages for the rest of Feast of Trumpets. And then we go into Day of Atonement. And it looks like I've already started breaking down some different stuff. I must have got sidetracked on something, but looks like I was breaking down Jesus Christ. So which is why I call him Yehoshua or Yeshua. That's all these are, just me breaking stuff down. I must have had a moment. So here is some stuff for Day of Atonement. So we got some Old Testament as well as New Testament. I like to do that for each of them, so you get a whole Bible understanding. And then I just have some journaling stuff for when I get to this page. Uh-oh, stuff's sticking. Same here, just a journaling card for when I get here. That one, we got one hidden in there, two hidden in there. Flip up, we've got two cards here. There we go. Can flip that one back. So I've already pre-done all these, which makes it very functional for me, because then I don't have to worry about decorating per se. I just can focus on learning, which is great because I get the pretty and I already created it, you know, without taking an hour to create the pretty and then having to learn what I'm learning. So I just preset it up here. I can actually tuck something in there, so I'll probably get another card and put it in there. A little like that. This goes up. Flip that one. Nope. So I guess I can write on there. This is a pocket. Let's see. Yep. So I can put something in there. place for journaling. So yeah. Then you get into Feast of Tabernacles. Got a pocket here. And just some journaling space. A card I can journal on when I get here. More stuff here. More pockets and cards and little spots here. There, I can tuck something in there if I want. Probably can even tuck something in there. Now I've just got these that I can write on, right under. More space. More cards just slid under there. Just take them out and write on them. And then all 4 of the kids. This was 2 years ago, and this was so long ago. I don't know. They look like babies in these pictures. So this is my oldest daughter, who I showed you her daughter, which is my granddaughter. So that is that. There's a back of that pocket. I just got these if I need extra stuff to write on. Whoops. And then I just put a tab here that says notes. I've got 4 sticky notes. And then this starts the 3rd book. Now the 3rd book I didn't know what to do with. So what I'm doing is when I'm doing my audio Bible, when Christ says something and it comes from his mouth, that's what I put in there. So it's basically Messiah's words. I just write that down. So this says, Shalom to you this fall feast season. Happy fall feast, and may you be blessed during the fall feast. And then we've got a pocket, and it's just got pictures of shofar, the menorah, Yom Teruah. This is my husband blowing the shofar, my littlest one blowing the shofar, stickers. So that's what's in that pocket. And then I've got just a washi card if I can get it out of there. So let me put that in first. So yeah, since it's fall, I love fall. And Feast of Tabernacles is one of my favorite feasts. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a whole setup for it. This is just acetate folded into pocket. I love the front of this book. I don't know, it's something about it. So here I put from Yehoshua's mouth to my ears. And I put one of his quotes. He who has ears, let him hear. I put some journaling cards there. And then it's exactly what I said. Whatever he quotes, I write down. You know, if it speaks to me, I just write it down. So most of the time he's quoting the Old Testament anyway. So sometimes I will reference where that's coming from. So, and sometimes I get all crazy and I start breaking down words. I try to just keep these for just his words, but sometimes I'm like, I need to know. So I go and I start breaking down stuff. So there you go. Okay, sorry about that. I had to take that message. Okay, so here is a few more quotes. And I will decorate these pages. They're just blank. So since it's just me writing a simple quote down from that day's audio Bible, I don't have a problem decorating at that moment. Or I'll decorate a few pages in advance. So like here's prepped for tomorrow, and then there's nothing. So, and I didn't put anything here. I need to put some pictures or something in that spot. Okay, and then that's the back. And then here's the back of that little acetate that I folded. It's just got a picture. I'm waiting for when I get to Feast of Tabernacles, I'll put these in there. But this is when we set up our tent in the house because it was pouring down raining. So typically we set the tents up outside, but this year we did that, and we all get in and we do our Bible study and we learn about the Feast of Tabernacles. Here is a few just random sheets of paper that I use in the scripture writing when I need more space, like when I go off on tangents and need space, then that's what those are for. Whoops. And then we have just washi so that I don't have to carry anything with me, and then a random piece of vellum. And then I've just got a Tombow marker here, and then the back of that. And then I've got this pocket, which I just have, I'm not going to take everything out. It's just stuff, again, that I'm going to use on the pages when it's time to use these. So like this stuff is for Sukkot. So once I get to learning about that, or Feast of Tabernacles, it will go on there. And then I just have this, another pin loop, a pocket that doesn't have anything in it. It typically has this in it. And this is just like a writing board that I use. So, but that is this big chunker. That is it. So that's what I'm using for the next 2 months or so till I get it all filled up, but I'm pretty sure it'll probably be 2 months. If not, I'll just get another one and create something else. I'm not really worried about it. I just going through the pages and getting it done. And since this is a traveler's notebook, once the book is done, I can pull it out and just add in another one and get me through if I fill these up too fast. So that is it. That is a long flip of my faith journal for September, October, or the fall months. I don't know what I'm going to do for November and December yet, but that is it. That's my flip. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will talk to you guys on the next video. Bye.